I'm using Fusion Mineral Paints colour Blue Pine and my S30 Klingon brush to make over this old toolbox that I found at a market one Saturday morning when I was out doing some op shopping. And so you can see I'm just painting all of the edges, all of the front. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of my painting technique here, usually going along the grain, so nice long strokes along the grain. And you'll notice another video that I have here on YouTube. I think if I find it, I'll link to it, of just some painting tips so that you don't have any drips coming over the edges. I usually work from just before the edge and then drag my brush back over the edge so that we don't get those drippy bits. And you can see I literally only am using one coat of this blue pine because it's got great coverage. And here I am doing the other side, and you can see it's quite a rustic old box. It's got some dings, it's got some scratches, you can see the screws in there, and I don't even mind because I like that rustic look. It's just made of plywood, and it's raw, it doesn't have any previous coating on it. So Fusion Mineral Paint is just soaking right there into the surface. Now this is my P20 bent brush. Now the Klingon brushes, I'll post another link to a video here on my YouTube channel of the Klingon bent brushes because they come in really handy for these little nooks and crannies right there. Now I'm going to show you how I'm stenciling the outside of the box, and I'm using Essential Stencils Scrabble tile set and just using a little stick there to line these up. You'll notice that I've just shown you how the N is quite wider than, say, the I, for example. So I've moved the letters over just a little bit to compensate for that. If you'd like to see the complete, entire, full, slowed down version of this exact stenciling technique and tips on this piece, I actually have another version. It's the replay of the live that I did for Essential Stencil, and it's right there on my YouTube channel. You can just see that there. So as you can see, I've just overlapped these stencils a little bit and just using my stenciling technique of dipping the brush in just the tips of the bristles, then offloading on a spare scrap piece of paper, and then doing a bit of a swirly method of just laying the paint into the stencil there. And the reason I offload that brush is so that you get less paint on the brush, and that will prevent bleed through. So any bleed underneath the stencil, you don't want those fuzzy edges. So there, now I'm just sort of spacing this out, eyeballing it really, but notice the I is much thinner than all of the other letters. So I sort of compensated for that when I was measuring out the centering of the word stencils on the whole box itself at the beginning. And I, of course, just covered up with the blue tape those little Scrabble tile numbers that are really the scoring for the Scrabble. So there we go, we've got the stencils on. Now I'm working with the transfers. These are Essential Stencils new range of transfers. This is their first in their collection. It's a fall collection. So if you're in the USA, you can get Essential Stencils, their stencils, their brushes, and now these transfers. Now these are a one-time use, whereas the stencils, you can use them over and over again. They're made of really strong mylar, but the transfers are made to just be used one time, and so you can actually cut them out, and then I'm just cutting to, you know, the ones that I want to use. And all of the transfers come with this little applicator stick, so I'm just kind of playing florist here and choosing an arrangement that I'd like to use. You can layer them, so that's what I'm doing, and I'll show you that with the left side of the box as well. So all so simple. I've just removed the white paper backing off the transfer, and now you're laying that transfer down and it's sticking to the box, and you're rubbing that onto the surface. I'll show you again with this next one here. These are just the beautiful sunflower collection. Now don't forget, if you're in the USA and you're ordering Essential Stencil products, use my code IRestoreStuff and you'll get 10% off anything in the Essential Stencil store. So very easy just to rub this on. It's so much fun. It's actually quite therapeutic, and you just feel really satisfied after doing that. So just rub it down with your fingers, as you saw I did there on the video, Now this one, I'm going to just group a little grouping of about 3 or 4 items from the transfer set here. And there we go again. I'm just going to layer these. So I've got these leaves, rubbing that on with the stick. And so you're just really rubbing the transfer, sticking it down onto the paint. Now Fusion Mineral Paint is quite a flat matte paint, which is what I've painted the box with. And so the transfers stick really well to that kind of a surface. Here we go again, just rubbing those. This is the speedy version. If you're wondering, I'm really not that fast. And then the last one is just this sunflower down the bottom. You peel off the paper backing, place it where you want it, hold it firmly. You can tape down these if you wanted to. I'm just holding it firmly there. And it went down really super easily. So then as we peel it off, I just rub my fingers over that to make sure it's all down, and then you can seal that when you're finished with just a top coat sealer. There we go. Nice, ready to fit all my stencils in.